Greetings, my acolytes. I am the mighty Master Voluminous, teacher, commentator, and most importantly to you, storyteller. Welcome to the first episode of Voluminous Talks in 2023. This year, we have plans on building both the realm and the brand of Mortiferous Arcadia, which means more art, more stories, more content, and more of my wonderful voice. In the meantime, let's continue from where we left off. Vatour, feel free to die. A paranormal crime thriller about a ruthless vigilante in a crime-ridden city called Scotch. This vigilante started off hunting gangbangers and street thugs. These attacks have been making the news, but I don't think anyone really cared. I mean, why would they? Criminals die all the time, and given the setting, I imagine the public is breathing a collective sigh of relief. But after Chapter 9, in which the vigilante targeted a wealthy bank manager, I think it's safe to argue that he has all the right, or maybe all the wrong attention. Let's have a look.
Chapter 10. Press Conference. Another day in the city of Scotch. There was a time when you could predict what was going to happen during the day. The sounds of police sirens, children laughing and old men swearing. The night was no different, as it was the preferred time for the party animals, junkies, prostitutes, rapists, and kidnappers. However, in recent times, the controlled chaos of the big city has been disturbed by a certain wild card. All over the newspapers, the radios, TVs, and the internet, there has been nothing but talk about the recent murders. Well, perhaps not so recent, as famed news anchor Veronica Cruz had made public yesterday that the killings had been going on for at least 5 months. It is incredible how a city that is literally infested with gangsters, though many of its citizens will deny it, as is human nature of pretending something does not exist when not comfortable about discussing it, can be so rattled by murder. Everyone, young or old, rich or poor, a man or a woman, and all other demographics is either increasingly pounded on with feelings of dread or arrogantly attempting to ignore it. Again, as is human nature. Pressure on the powers that be has been mounting to put a stop to the Black Feather Killer, a name that has been popularized by the media due to the killer's trademark of leaving a single black feather near the bodies of his victims. Yesterday, Mayor Agassi held a press conference outside City Hall. "I would like to inform the public that I have ordered the SCPD to move heaven and earth if they have to," he stated passionately, as any politician would. Commissioner Kintu was standing behind him, nodding at every word. "To the killer, whoever you are, your days of terrorizing our beloved city are numbered. You will be found, you will be apprehended, and you will be locked away for the rest of your natural life. May God have mercy on your soul, because the law will not." This speech was made after the security footage of the wealthy bank manager, Zafir Konar, being murdered by a hooded figure had reached the eyes and ears of all those with access to it, sparking protests and demands for the killer's head. After Mayor Agassi's speech, he was asked many questions. Some involved the upcoming election. Others resembled praise. But there was one question that had truly stood out to all who were present. It came from a female reporter. Black curly hair, olive-toned skin, a brown jacket, a white t-shirt, and blue jeans. The question was not directly for the mayor, but for the police commissioner.
"Why is it that you seem ready and willing to put all your resources together to bring down this killer? Or to be more specific, why now?"
Kintu clenched his jaw, but betrayed no expression, while Agassi stared at her for a few minutes and then spoke. "May I ask that you elaborate on your question, Ms.
Ivanov. Tamika Ivanov of the Stardust Pistol newspaper,"
the woman said confidently. She had a look in her eyes that seemed to be making the police commissioner uncomfortable. Deep, piercing, aqua-green eyes that looked directly at him when she spoke.
With regards to my question, I'm referring to the countless thefts, rapes, kidnappings, and murders that have taken place in this city with little police intervention and hardly a word from City Hall. Where was this passion when the Hellfire crew, a group of arsonists who in fact were the first known victims, were terrorizing the Southeast? Or when Lorenzo Altera's gang was selling AR-15s to children who had been victims of bullying? Why now?
There it is. She had spoken about the topic that no one likes talking about. And as far as Vatour Agassi, a man whose job relied on the public loving and trusting him long enough to keep him in power for another 4 years was concerned, it should stay that way. But he made a mistake that no politician should make. He froze. In front of the reporters, his voters, and the world, he froze. He could not finish his mental gymnastics routine fast enough, and it did not end there, because the same young reporter with those piercing eyes that looked not at the short, plump politician, but the tall, muscular police commissioner behind him, asked a follow-up question.
Is it because the latest victim was a wealthy and powerful businessman? Is that what it takes to get your attention? Or is this simply a political ploy to gain an advantage in the upcoming mayoral election?
She struck a nerve with that last question. Who does this woman think she is? How dare she accuse him of being so heartless? Whether or not the mayor took offense because Miss Ivanov had spoken the truth was not established, because before he could respond to her, Commissioner Kintu stepped in. After asking Agassi to allow him to handle the situation, the aging mayor begrudgingly agreed. Kintu took the podium, although he did not look Tamika directly in those piercing eyes. "What did you say your name was again, miss?" Visibly annoyed with being given the runaround, the young brunette answered.
Tamika Ivanov.
"Ivanov?" he asked. There was a tone in his voice that had put a sly smile on Mayor Agassi's mouth. Having known Mukasa since college, he knew the tone in his voice and the twinkle in his eye, which meant he was about to verbally bury someone. That smug trollop won't know what hit her. Tamika, not knowing what she was about to walk into, spoke, still looking annoyed.
"Yes, Ivanov. Now can you please answer the—"
"It's funny, because 15 years ago there was a drug operation in the southeast block that I had personally shut down, for your information. That was run by a drug lord with the name Milana Ivanov." Now it was Tamika who made a mistake. She opened her mouth and then closed it. Like an eagle, Kintu swooped in for the kill. "As many of you know, a shootout broke out, in which the drug lord was killed. Our father, a tailor in the area named Vadim Ivanov, claimed ignorance." The piercing look in Tamika's eyes was gone, and she diverted her gaze. Her youthful inexperience was showing, as he carried on. "When the Hellfire crew was all but annihilated, he claimed to have been face-to-face with the perpetrator, who saved him from a group of them, including the personal head crusher of Yandi Rakotasan, known to the public as Charing, the leader, who disappeared soon after."
What does that have to do with—
"Mr. Ivanov and the other shopkeepers in the area have held a silent support for the Freebird Phantom, as they call it. Now, I'm sure it's just a coincidence, but you wouldn't happen to share any relation with them, would you?" Tamika gave him an incredulous look.
That's completely irrelevant to the
At this, Kintu raised his hand. "Answer my question, and I'll answer yours. Seems fair." He then turned to all those in attendance. "Don't you all agree?" Like sheep, the crowd nodded in unison. Tamika gritted her teeth and then sighed.
Vadim Ivanov is my father.
"So that would make Miss Milana..."
My older sister.
"I see! So a woman with ties to the underworld and a possible sympathizer of the killer has the audacity to try and take the moral high ground?" This brought gasps from some members of the audience and laughter from others. Mayor Agassi could not hide his smile. He's got her now, he thought. She'll be wise to remember her place next time. Tamika grew flustered. Having your family history thrown back in your face in public will do that to you.
Typical politics, she thought. If you corner a rat, the little bastard is going to bite you.
Satisfied, Commissioner Kintu finally concluded. For the first time, we have conclusive evidence of the killer in action. So we are going to take action. The SCPD has been busy protecting the city. We saved 2 kidnapped schoolgirls from the Purple Halos, stopped an attack on the St. Andrew Hospital, and tracked down the hacker, Glitch, amongst countless other deeds. My men and women work tirelessly to keep the people of Scotch safe by upholding the laws that build society. He gestured towards the mayor to take the podium, which he did. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is call Commissioner Kintu for information on all active cases, and to keep me posted on their progression and eventual conclusions, including this one. He pointed at Tamika and asked, Have you seen Zafir Konar's wife and daughter? I have. They are distraught because not only do they have to see his mutilated corpse, they also have to be swarmed by reporters and other random strangers who themselves had witnessed it on television. I am out here so that I don't have to see another family suffer because of an individual or group of individuals with some warped sense of justice. And with that, I conclude this press conference. Before Tamika could say or do anything, her partner, a tall, slender man with dreadlocks, dark skin, and glasses, pulled her aside.
Forget it. Let's go before the vultures swoop in,
Takiso said. When they got into his car, he went on.
Chief's going to be pissed about this. I know, Tamika said, leaning against the passenger window. She told you not to get involved with this story. I know, she said through gritted teeth.
Kakiso grinned. You sure about that?
Just get us the hell out of here, she snapped.
Yes, ma'am. Kakiso started the car and they drove off.
So now the mayor's involved. Of course. Street thugs getting gutted like pigs? Who cares? Rich guy with a wife and daughter. We will use the full extent of the law to bring him to justice. I love this guy. I hope to see more of him. Oh, then there's that reporter, Tamika, daughter of Vadim from chapters 2 and 3. If you recall, he had only recently sent her to reporting school. I get the distinct impression that she is going to be important, so stay tuned. Or buy the book yourself. Seriously, buy the book. The links are in the description. Anyway, goodbye, my listeners. See you next week.